Hi guys.
Welcome to Life Unfinished.
Welcome to another episode. I'm Toya.
So I'm Toya.
And I'm RJ. Because you usually say your name first.
Yeah,
so
that's my fault.
I'm Toya. I'm RJ.
We're also still trying to master saying the whole Life Unfinished together. So you guys get to see our struggle a bit.
We'll get the hang of it.
Definitely. But today our topic is on a case that's currently going on. Most of you have probably seen it or heard about it on social media or something. So there is a 30-year-old named Michael Rotondo.
I think it's Rotondo or something like that.
And he has been living with his parents pretty much since birth. And for the last 8 years, he has not worked or contributed to his family income in any way, shape, or form. But he still is using all of their utilities and eating their food, basically like full-on living in their house as if, he's paying for it.
Yeah.
So, according to his parents, they asked him to leave quite a few times and he refused, which is hilarious. So, how do you refuse?
Considering he's a grown man.
Yeah. I'm just I don't get that. Anyways, so I think at first they gave him the option, okay, if you are going to be here, then you need to be working and contributing in some way, because maybe they couldn't afford to be funding his life any longer. He denied that as well. And then they kind of got to the point where they're like, you need to get out. He didn't. So it got so bad that they sued him and won the case.
Obviously.
Yeah, which he seems to be very shocked about. So we've just kind of been discussing this, and we think this is so crazy. Just kind of have a lot of comments around this topic, and curious to hear what you guys think as well, as is it your parents' responsibility to take care of you at 30?
Not even just 30, but after the point where you can take care of yourself.
Yeah,
because for some people that might be much earlier than 30. I mean, it should be much earlier than 30 for, I believe, the majority of us, especially if your parents did a good job raising you, in the sense of they had what, they provided whatever it is that you needed to be able to grow up and learn and be stable in life and get a job, be capable of getting a job. So yeah, Toy and I were talking about this, and it was funny because I was saying that I also saw a post, I guess maybe stemming from this conversation that has been going around, and someone had said that they don't believe that it's fair for parents to make their children pay rent if they're 25 years old trying to get their life together. And I was saying to Toy, first of all, how do you not have your life together at 25 to the point where you cannot take care of yourself? I'm not saying that if you're 25, you should never live at home. Because maybe financially, it is a wiser decision. Maybe you're trying to save up for something. I don't know. Maybe you're trying to pay off debt. That's fine. But you should be able to take care of yourself at that stage in life. Yeah, if need be, for sure.
We're not referring to because I know some parents, they stand by no, I don't let my child pay rent. And that's okay. I don't think anything's wrong with that. I don't think I would necessarily either. But I would definitely see a problem with my child being completely dependent. Yeah. Have zero income, and they're capable. I'm not talking about if you're disabled or not sick or anything like that, but capable of work. I definitely think that is a problem. But we're not saying okay, if your parents say you don't have to pay rent, you're bad to not do that. Yeah. If your parents are comfortable with it, and then that's fine. But it's more that entitlement is, I think, the word we kind of came to in this, that they are entitled to take care of you at that age point is crazy. You almost have to laugh about it, because it's just why? Where did this mentality come from? Why are we so entitled in this generation? There's people that leave their house at 18, and they survive. We both left at 18. I'm not saying our parents never helped us in any way, and that's not what I mean.
That's not the case.
But we were able to take care of ourselves and move to a whole different city at that age. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to do that. That's everyone's reality. But it just goes to show that you're able to at a young age. Never mind at 25 up. So I think it's a big issue in our generation right now, where we feel like everybody owes us something. Yeah. I don't know where that comes from. They call us a selfie generation, and I agree, because I can't, even the guy in that specific case, he said he's never going to talk to his parents ever again. I'm like, what?
And mind you, I'm pretty sure that them asking him to leave, the build up to this, I'm pretty sure he had enough time to I'm sure it didn't just come out of nowhere one day.
No.
They were like, hey, we're suing you. So the fact that he's like, I'm never going to talk, like, you knew this was coming. While you were in court, you knew this was coming. So I think that's funny.
Yeah, according to him, they are terrible people. And, sorry.
That startled me.
Yeah.
There's someone walking around asking for money.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Just going to lock this door.
Yeah, according to them,
Lock them all.
they're terrible people. And I'm like, you're 30 and they kept you and fed you for 30 years and they're terrible people?
30 years, that's a lot.
Like, I don't know if everything's okay, and like mentally, because I can't understand that how he came to that conclusion. And like, he's passionate. If you guys have seen the interview, you've seen like he is passionate about this. Like, I just can't believe. And then so of course the judge like was like, you gotta get out now. And then he was ticked at the judge, saying how she should have given him 30 days notice.
This guy had 8 years notice. He's been living with his parents for 8 years. That's a lot of notice.
Like, that is just, oh my God, it's crazy. But we're curious, like, what are your thoughts, guys? Like, do you think that parents are entitled to care for you as long as needed? Please, like, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to hear what people think and how much people agree with this. Like, do I think that maybe they should have went to the extreme of suing him? I mean, I don't know all that happened, so I can't really say. I do think I think it has to be pretty extreme to get to that point, but I don't think that matters. I think it's just the fact that they had to go to that to get to the point to sue him is what really needs to be discussed here. Like, what took place for them to get to that point where they're like, we need authorities to get this guy out of our house. Like, I don't understand. I don't know if anyone else is like as confused as me. So what responsibilities do you, like, to what age and to what capacity do you think parents are responsible? So for me, I think that parents definitely should be saving for their kids to go to school. Now, I'm not saying necessarily, and I know some people might say, oh, well, they didn't have it. Well, first of all, there's income taxes. So a really good philosophy that I've heard from a friend of mine is, even if you just save your income tax money every time, that's something.
Yeah.
Also, the government pays you taxes for your children, which is your children's money. So I think, maybe if your income is like just enough and you're kind of getting by, then you can at least save a portion of that for your kids every year. I definitely think that's a responsibility that parents have, because a lot of people are in OSAP debt for years. Mm-hmm. Like, they're getting married and having kids and they're still in OSAP debt because nothing was saved for them for school. So do you guys agree? Do you not agree? Do you think that, nope, it's our responsibility to get ourselves through school? Well, you know what? I should say it like this. If parents have an expectation for their kids to go to school, then that's what I should say. Because a lot of times kids don't even want to go to school. And their parents are like, you don't have a choice. But, like, we don't have any money for you to go either. So that, for me, is just like, okay, that's not fair. That I have to go in debt. Anyone has to go in debt because of that expectation. But what do you think?
I think for me, so this is actually, it's funny because this is a conversation that Clay and I were having. And at first I was like, I want to save money for our children to be able to go to school. To be honest, post high school education is not as important to me as the fact that they're knowledgeable. I don't really care if they have a paper. I do care that they're doing something with their lives, but that could look very different, especially as we're growing and like society's changing. There are people making $1 million on YouTube. Hopefully we'll be one of them soon.
Subscribe.
But subscribe. But there are people who are taking non-traditional ways of doing something, and they're still doing something with their lives. So it's not as important to me that they have a university or college-based education, but it is important to me that they have an education. Yeah. So we were talking about this.
Integral kids.
Mm-hmm. And I was saying to him that at first I was like, no, I'm paying for my kids to go to school. I know what it's like to have to work to university. I don't want to have to do that. And we were kind of going back and forth. And he was saying, no, I believe that their education is also their financial responsibility. Not that we don't help them at all, but teaching them that essentially it's not a free ride. It's not like, well, I'm going to school, my parents pay for it. No. So we will have the money reserved for them, but we're going to decide at that point in time how we want to do it. Are we going to say, hey, you need to pay $5,000 of your entire school tuition? Are we going to pay for tuition for them, and maybe they take care of their rent and groceries or whatever? I don't know yet. We're not sure yet.
Depends on the situation.
It does. And it probably won't even be the same for all of our kids, right? Every child is different, and probably the path that they take will all be different. But I do agree that it is also their financial responsibility. Like, it's both of ours. We should be working as a team to make sure that they get through school.
But that's the key, is you have to be willing to teach them.
Yeah.
Because it's wrong to not ever teach your kids to save for school, like not wanting them to work in high school, and then later on being like, it's your responsibility to pay for school. Like, you have to be implementing those values when they're young, teaching them what saving means, what earning means, being a good steward of their finances, little things like that.
Yeah.
So that when they do get old enough to understand and they're getting closer into their high school years, then at that point you have that discussion. You say, okay, we've been saving for you, but we are expecting for you to, be working in the summers when you're not in university. We're expecting, finding some type of middle ground, because I'm a huge advocate of not working in school. I've done it. It really does affect your grades. It is actually even proven, like, statistics show that students who are not working do very, 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 a lot better than students who are not. They tend to do very well. Whereas a lot of people are like, oh, why do people drop out to work? But most of the time it's like they're so overwhelmed between school and work that they just choose work. Because it's just an easier thing to handle, right? So that is my main reason why I think you should still save. But I completely agree with that. I didn't even think that through. Like, yeah, you should be implementing values in them and giving them something to be responsible for in that time.
Yeah. And I think that it helps them to value their education more. Yeah. Because, for us, I'm sure... even though school was hard, we still understood that, like, no one is paying for this for us. So if we wanted to do it, it was pretty much the financial burden was on us to make it happen. And I do believe that it's important for them to understand the value of their education and the value of being able to finance things. And so my ideal hope is that we'll be able to raise children who are so financially savvy that they're able to pay for school, and then all that we've saved for them they can put towards something else. Exactly. That would be awesome. I would love that. And that's how we're going into it, being able to teach our kids and of course learning along the way. But regardless, I'm kind of looking at it like our savings is almost like their backup plan. I want to get them to a place where they don't even need it, so that after they're done school,
encourage them to get scholarships.
Exactly. Scholarships is another way. They might not even have to work, but they can take on financial responsibility by making sure that they get a scholarship. Well. Yeah.
I know what some parents do. What I'm thinking I might kind of do as well, with our children, or discuss this with Samuel, of course, is we'll save for you to go to school, but there's an expectation of the grades you need to be getting, or the effort that you're putting in. So I'm not going to spend $1,000 for you to go to school if you're flunking out of school. Or you're like, and when I say flunking, I mean because you're not trying. Yeah. Because I don't want to say, oh, just because your grades are not good, you're not doing well. Because sometimes school really is a struggle for people, and that is their best. But what I mean is, like, okay, so you're applying for scholarships. I need to see, you on the honors list. I need to see that effort being made, and if that's not there, then that money is being withdrawn, because, like you said, at that point they're not valuing their education, and they just think that, oh, I didn't pay for this, so. There's no attachment to it.
And I think in the case of Michael, like in this case where he was sued by his parents, to be honest, to me, when I look at that situation, it seems like there was probably an underlying expectation of entitlement that he probably grew up with, having his parents like
what made him that way.
Exactly. Being used to his parents either bailing him out or telling him, well, yeah, you can, like, they were always a safety net for him. And I think at some point, especially the earlier the better. First of all, like Latoya said, you need to prepare your children for it. It's not fair to not prepare them and then have that expectation of them. But you do need to pull out that safety blanket, because they need to be able to stand on their own. I think as parents, that's probably one of our biggest jobs. Yeah. To make sure that your kids are self-dependent. They can't always be relying on you.
Yeah, because if your parents have to up and move, or somebody gets sick, and God forbid somebody passes, you should be confident that your kid can still survive. Yeah. To me, every parent so often should stop and be like, if I were to die today, can my kid...
Would they be okay?
Okay. And I don't mean okay, like, because they're going to be sad.
Emotionally, not emotionally okay.
But can they financially... Are they at least... Even if, like, okay, they might be struggling financially at that time, because that happens for everybody. But, like, would they have the capacity to survive without me? And if the answer is no, that's a big, big, big problem. Because you can't control when you leave. Yeah. or let's not even look that extreme as dying, but maybe you'll lose your job. You know, that happens all the time. Then what? You know, where, like, are you going to have a breakdown because you can't provide for your child, and are they going to have a breakdown because you can't provide for them?
Yeah.
Like, I think every parent should be stopping to reflect at some point, can my kids stand on their own 2 feet if I'm not here? Now, it doesn't mean it's bad for you to desire to help your kids. I know I'm definitely going to be that parent that desires to help their kids. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not going to want them to have to do less and make life a little bit easier for them. But I need to make sure that they have some type of knowledge that they can then go raise a child and be available to them. Because to me, you haven't accomplished your goal. You haven't accomplished your task if your child is, you know, unable to survive without you. And you know what, too, I also want to give the other side too. We mess up. Parents mess up. Sometimes you really had good intentions to save and life happened. There's ways to still help. So when your kid is in, or your kids are in school, you can maybe you didn't save up money for them to go to school and now they have all this OSAP, contribute to it. Even if you don't pay for all of OSAP, give them $100 a month, because I don't think parents realize the payments are a lot more than that. Like, a lot it's more. Like $500 a month for like 10 years. It's ridiculous.
Sometimes way longer than 10 years too.
So just, you know, just show them in some way, like, you know what, I wasn't here, I didn't do my part then, but let me help you now. Or encourage them while they're working in school. You know, realize that is very, very stressful. Be there. Ask how it's going. You know, give them suggestions for how they can make life easier. Help them with their assignment. Like, find a way to rekindle what was not there. Because that can really be an area of resentment that a child carries for a long time, and a parent can, like, they don't even know that you know. There's some people that go into depression and have nervous breakdowns and stuff because of the stress of school. And they're so easy to attribute that to, because, oh, if my parents had saved for me, then this wouldn't have happened, you know? Which, of course, is not entirely true, but you know what I mean. Like, there's ways to go back and still be supportive if you didn't get the opportunity to save for your kids. And it's important, too, I think, for us to forgive if our parents didn't, and to not hold that against them and throw that in their face.
And I do think it's important to have that conversation, because I don't think that conversation gets had a lot, like, in the sense of, we weren't able to save for you, whatever. And as simple as it is, that maybe your child doesn't even care, maybe they're fine, and that's fine. But I do think just maybe sometimes giving context helps as well, because that could help them understand. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one of your children were disabled and, like, all of your money went towards their financial bills. I don't know. Your case could be anything. But I do think, just in terms of relationship building and maintaining, that it is important for, like, parents to have that discussion with their children, especially as they're preparing, hopefully before, but as they're preparing to go to, like, university or college or whatever it is that they're doing.
Don't assume that they're fine. I completely agree with that, because I feel like that conversation also doesn't. It
doesn't get had very often.
You might feel bad, but you don't actually talk about it. You know. But sometimes they just need that apology to be freed from that burden. And they're like, "Wow, thank you," and that's it. Or
maybe the parent is carrying guilt, feeling like, "Oh, I couldn't save anything," but maybe your child doesn't care. Maybe they're like, "Oh, well,
or they've forgiven you for that already."
So. Do you think that's important to have? But we definitely want to know what you guys think about this. Check out the video. We'll also link it below, just so that you guys can see. I'm not sure if it's a video or an article.
There's a lot.
Okay, well, we'll link something below so that you guys can take a look at it. And jump in the conversation. Let us know what you think. Did you pay your way through school? How was your experience? And what do you think about parents contributing to their child's financial well-being? Is that their responsibility past a certain age? What age do you think is appropriate? Join the conversation.
Bye, guys. Please remember to like this video. Subscribe, please, and share with your friends. And just thank you for those who are supporting us. We love doing this, and we're excited to keep going with you guys.
And remember to follow us on Instagram at life.unfinished. Also at Toya and Kanza, and at RJ Connell Official.
And we'll have it on the screen so you know. Bye, guys. Love you.